Hey everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we learned the concept of pointers in C++. Now we are going to learn one of the most important topic which is going to help in a lots of DSA problems, which is STL, Standard Template Library. What is STL? STL is a collection of pre-written classes and functions in C++ that helps you perform operations like sorting, searching, storing data, etc. without writing the logic manually. Think of it as a DSA already implemented for you, means there is some data structure or functions which already have been written in a C++. You just have to use when you are going to solve the problems. STL has four major components. First one is containers, which stores data like vector, list, map, queue, stack, set, etc. These are the containers which we are going to use to store a data. Then we have second component, which is algorithms. There is some algorithms which already written in C++ to solve the problem. Okay, first one is sort. Basically we can sort or arrange a data in a specified manner. We have a find if we want to find some data in the data, then count, etc, etc. So algorithms we are going to use in the future. Then third component is iterators, which is basically a pointers, or we can say like pointers for containers, means pointers were pointing to the memory address of an element or a number. Similarly, iterators will be pointing to the memory address of the container. So we have a container and we have data in that container, then iterator will be used to iterate, or we can say to move to the next memory address. Then there is another component which is function, object, and we can say functors. This one we are not going to use it because we don't need it for DSA. These are three things: containers, algorithms, and iterators are the most important for the DSA. Let's look at the some of the example for algorithms. Let's say we have a array of size 5 and we have a data here 4, 3, 5, 1 and 2, and I want to arrange this data in ascending order. For this you can write a code manually, but it will take lots of time. So there is a function in C++ which will allow you to sort this array. So to sort we will write sort, then we will write a array name, then comma array plus 5. So the first argument is for the first, because we already discussed the array name is pointing to the memory address of first element of an array. So we are starting from the first and we are going till the end pointer. End means we are just placing our array plus 5 pointer at the end of the array, basically just after the end of the array. So our pointer is from 4 to here, means out of the index. So it is sorting between these pointers. So that's how we write a function for sorting. Similarly, we have an iterators, and iterators basically used to traverse through the containers. Let's look at one of the containers. Here a vector int, and then we have a iterator. I'm going to name it it. Okay, this is our container, this is our iterator, and it is a variable name for that iterator. So for loop, similarly we will write it v dot begin it I not equals to v dot end and it plus plus, and we are going to print cout it and some space between it. Let's see what this loop is doing. Okay, there was a container and we declared a iterator which is it. Okay, and this is our container. We have a iterator which is traversing the vector. Vector is basically a container which is similar to the array, but it is dynamic in memory, means in runtime you can add more data to that vector. We will see in the upcoming videos. Okay, for now let's look what is iterator. So we declared iterator it, and here you can see it equals to v dot begin. Okay, v is my array name or vector name. V is my vector name and begin is my iterator, or we can say similar to the pointer, which is pointing to the first memory address of an vector, and there is v dot end which is pointing after the end of vector. So this is our last element, this is our last, and is pointing after the last. Okay, and these are basically pointing to the memory address. Now we are starting from here, so initially we have it here, then we are going till until it not equals to end v end, sorry, it not equals to v end, means we will go here, go here, go here, go here. If we reach here, the loop will stop. So it is saying traverse until it is not equals to v dot end, and here we are doing it plus plus, means we are incrementing our memory address. Okay, initially our memory address were here, then it moved here, then moved here, then moved here, then here our loop stop. Okay, and now what here you can see, it is printing see out it. Here you can see it, and there is a also a star sign. That means the it is traversing on the memory address of an element, not the element itself. So it is just like a pointer, so we have to use star sign to access the value or element at that memory address. So that's how iterator work. It is similar to the for loop. We used the index 0 to n-1. Similarly we are using here iterators, which is basically pointing to the memory address, and we are iterating on a memory address of the vectors or containers. Now why STL is important? Fast development, right? Because I had this array and I want to arrange my elements in a ascending order, I have to write some algorithm and it will take lots of time. But I just used one of the STL component algorithm, which is basically sorting my array and arranging it in a ascending order. So I did write in a one line. So there is similar functions we are going to use in a upcoming videos. Optimized performance means these functions are have been already implemented in C++ and they are exist for a long time. So after lots of trial and error, they improved to make our C++ faster. So whenever we will be writing programs using these STL, our program will be faster. Also reduces code, right? Here we wrote in a single line, but for arranging these elements we have to write at least 4 to 5 lines, or in some algorithms you have to write around 20 plus lines also. So it reduces the size of the code. And STL is widely used in competitive programming as well as in DSA. So without DSA you cannot easily solve DSA problems. I said easily because you can solve problems without DSA, but you have to write lots of code. But with STL you can reduce that code and also save a lots of time. And it is also important for interview. Yes, it is really important for the interview, because in interview you are not going to write whole code, right? So in interview you are going to STL functions to write your code, so it will be easier to write, and it is also preferred by an interviewer. You use STL functions to solve the code. So it is really important topic to learn a DSA. Now let's look one of the example related to STL. Here I created a file stl.cpp and I wrote basic structure hashtag include iostream using namespace, then main function, then our code. Here you can see I first created a container which is vector int, then v is my variable name, then I initialized 3142, then I want to sort these elements, so I wrote then v dot begin, v dot end, means it is sorting from beginning to the end, and there is my iterator it, which is iterating on a value of the vector, not on a memory address. So here you can see it is giving me identifier vector is undefined, means without including the library we cannot use our container, so we will write vector. Okay, so it's not giving me an error related to the vector. And you can see a standard container which offers fixed time access to individual elements in any order, so we can easily access our vector. But there is still a problem where we cannot use a sort. So for using a sort we also include a algorithm. Now we can use vector and algorithm. Okay, now let's run our code. Here you can see it is printing me in a ascending order 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you can see I included 3 libraries to run this program. In the future you are going to use lots of containers and algorithms, so you are not going to include again and again, right? So to avoid this, there is one standard header file in C++ which will include all the C++ standard libraries, header files, functions, STL, whatever we can use with this header file. Okay, let's run it. Here you can see it is printing 1, 2, 3. Remember one thing, whenever you are going to write C++ code, always include this header file. Avoid using any other header file because they will make your code lengthy. Okay, this is one of the examples about STL. In the upcoming videos we are going to focus all the containers we will be going to use in a DSA. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.